In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the GeniusBrainPodcast. We have a very special guest because once again, she's so highly requested because of the first time she was here talking all that shit on Smosh.
David!
Yo.
No tea today, only tears.
I kid you not. Like I rarely check comments, but whenever I do, that video still gets comments till this day over all the other videos.
Oh, we hit it with the hottest clickbait. But like it's still like interesting, you know? And also I think everyone expected like it to be like a bunch of shit talk, and it was just like, no, I didn't go to college. I need to like I mean, I did briefly.
Yeah.
But like, you know, not enough to like, I don't know. Yeah.
It was interesting because when that video came out, some people were I think like 99% of people understood what you were talking about, but there was that 1% of hardcore Smosh fans. They didn't even see the video and they just saw the title and they were like, well, fuck this girl.
Like, fuck this stupid bitch.
I know. Fuck this girl. She's black.
I had somebody. Okay, so I'm pretty sure like by the time this video comes out, it'll like have actually been announced. But the girls and I are doing like another side project.
Oh, that's right.
And like, you know, they put out a teaser video, and GL was like, "Hey guys, like post this, whatever." So like I went to post it, and like before I went to post it, I saw a comment, and it was from this person. I don't remember what your name is, but you know who you are. There was like a comment from this one person. They were like, Boze climbed Smosh. She used Smosh, and now she's using JK News. I was like, listen, you stupid bitch. I literally left to get a 9-to-5 job because I wanted to do a career shift, and then I'm just doing other projects with friends.
Well, first of all, what do you mean you? This is so fucking dumb. This is how stupid people are. What do you mean used? She was hired. That was her job.
I was contacted.
What are you talking about? She was employed by them. Used, you dumb fucks. She was like, contractually employed and got a paycheck from them, you fuckface.
It's like, and like, especially with like fan bases like that, there's for some people, not all of the fans, but for some fans, there is a concept of what they want to be true. It's like a perfect example is like Twilight. When, God, what are their names? The Edward and Bella people in real life, they actually dated. But when they broke up, people refused to let it happen. You know, they had this fantasy in their head of what they wanted to happen. And if that didn't happen, they were fucking pissed.
Wait, they dated in real life?
They did. They actually did. And then they broke up. It's like the same shit with like Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. People create a fantasy of who you are and what your life is supposed to be. And when it gets shattered, like it, you know, they get mad about it. So like, you know, maybe this person believed like, oh, I was supposed to be in Smosh, not Boze. You know, like it's so fucking, it's really weird. Actually, I take it back. People cope with their surroundings in different ways, but don't put that shit on me. I don't have time for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think like the comments kind of really shows how people are, right? So for me, in my small little bubble, I always give people the benefit of the doubt, right? Like most people are genuinely intelligent. I don't think that's the case. I think what actually happens is like when social media came out, everybody said the same thing. They said that social media is making people stupid. And I don't think social media made anybody stupid. I think social media showed just how many stupid people there are.
Oh, social media and the internet as a whole is just a million people finding out at once that there are people with different opinions in them.
Yeah.
You know, initially when we first got online, like I am a child of the internet. I was on Neopets at fucking 10. I've been playing video games for years. I'm a child of the internet. And I think for a lot of y'all, especially around my age, or even just 10 years ago, when we first started getting online, we gravitated towards people that had similar interests. Yeah. Like if you were on LiveJournal, you joined communities of like metal bands, or like if you were on MySpace, you liked people that, you know, had profiles that looked a certain way. You gravitated towards your coven. And now those groups have started to kind of dissipate. They still exist, but we're all connected to each other through like Twitter and other mediums. And so now we're seeing these other opinions, whereas, you know, 8 or 9 years ago, they weren't always so blatantly in our face. And now they're being served to us daily, and people want to get mad about it.
I'm so confused too sometimes so for example, if somebody tells a story like on an online platform, right, immediately I feel like a lot of people say the same shit. Specifically, they always say either I hear it a lot from me, like I'll tell a story and they go, that's impossible. And I started to realize like, I wonder why it's when somebody says something the immediate response is that you don't believe it. And what I figured out was that a lot of people tend to want to rationalize things with stuff that's only within their reality,
Their
right?
bubble.
Their bubble. They
Yep.
go, if I wouldn't have done that, then clearly it's impossible, right? But and so like for example, like I told the story when I was a kid, right? So when I was a kid, I used to have like a lot of anger issues, and even till this day, I tried to manage my anger problems. But when I was a kid, it was super bad. Like I had to go through therapy for it and shit and all this other stuff. So like I told the story back in the day, and a couple of times because when it came up, I would just tell the story about me when I was a kid. I stabbed this kid in his face when I was like 8 years old with a pencil. Like I stabbed it through his mouth into the cheek. He had to get stitches. I got removed from that school, and then I almost got expelled from that elementary school and so on. And so I read a comment recently where somebody was like, David thinks he's such a fucking thug. He's talking about the story where he stabbed people. I was like, hold on a second. I told that story when I was 8 years old. I was 8.
And it's also, and it's not to brag, it's to show how far you've come.
Exactly.
What you could have been versus who you
And
are
so
now.
in my mind, I'm like, why did you think that was a story where number one, I was bragging, and number two, did you not remember the part I was 8 years old?
Yeah.
How the fuck was I a thug? I was 8.
Dude, exactly. Like I'm with you, David.
It's so weird. I'm like, what story did I tell that made you feel that way, right? And so what happens is, and what I start to realize too, especially with people, they go, oh, when I was a kid, I wouldn't have done that. Well, I'm sorry that you were such a little bitch, all right? When I was a kid, I got bullied a lot. Right. So because I was bullied a lot, but also at the same time, I had a father who was very tough. And he told me that when you go to the school, and number one, I wasn't born here. I was an immigrant. So I already had a disadvantage. Like people were already picking on me. So my dad always told me, listen, you're never allowed to put your hands on people first. But if they ever touch you or if they ever do something to you, I give you full reign to do whatever you want. Protect yourself. And so for me, when I was a kid, I always made it a point to say, hey, you can try and bully me as much as you want, but I will be that bully kid, but I'm gonna be the most difficult one ever, So you might have to think twice before you bully somebody like me, right? And mind you, like I understand why people bullied me. I was an easy target. I would have bullied myself if I went back in time and I saw myself. I would have taken my own lunch money. And so like I had to really sit there and think. I was like, I wonder why this is such a far-fetched story for people to believe. Why is it so far-fetched that you would hear a Korean dude that grew up with a bunch of black people? Why is that so far-fetched? Why is it so far-fetched that a Korean guy likes R&B and hip-hop and that he does that without trying to be quote-unquote black? Why is this such a hard idea for people to wrap their head around? And I realize it's because, once again, it's not within what they believe is to be true. So because it's not within that rationale, it's automatically a lie. And I'm like, how close-minded are these human beings? Like, it's kind of sad.
Dude, I think you're touching on a really good point of like something that I've always thought about, and it's the bubble. It's the bubble that we all kind of live in. And I think a really good example of this are like some YouTubers. Like, like not like you and like a lot of like JK and stuff. And I think that's why I gravitate so much to you guys, because you guys see the bigger picture. But, as I came in, as I came into the industry, I met a lot of people that were severely depressed.
Yeah.
A lot of really depressed YouTubers. Like, people that have been in the game for a minute and, they had their peak and they felt like they might have like fallen off or they didn't keep up with that momentum, And these people, they live in their own bubble where they compare themselves to other things in that bubble every day. And they wonder why they fucking hate themselves so much and they feel like they're not being successful. You need to look outside of the bubble. Like you need to look far outside of the bubble. Like I kind of think of it, I feel like I'm not explaining it that well, but like I guess the best way to explain it is like when I grew up, I was a fucking loser, like total fucking loser in high school. Went to 3 different schools, like in high school. Actually, I think I went to 4 different high schools.
Damn.
Yeah, 4 different ones. Complete fucking loser. Nobody liked me. My hometown, like I was basically nothing, like right up until 25. And somehow I get plucked out of my bubble that I couldn't see out of. And I get thrown into a much bigger bubble, which is LA, which is this new industry. And from somebody that came from literally nothing, this micro bubble, to being in this bigger like bubble, everything looks huge to me. I can see outside of the bubble. I can see the edges of the bubble. I can see everything. And I'm like, holy shit. I want to keep exploring and I'm so happy about it. But some people, they just stay in this little tiny miserable world and they don't realize there are other bubbles you can travel to. You can go to bigger bubbles. You can see other experiences and they're trapped. Yeah. And like you don't have to be trapped there.
Yeah, and it's I always told, Joe also mentioned this too, where I think, was it Joe or was it Gio? But we were talking about this where I said one of the biggest blessings of my life, or probably the smartest thing I think I've ever did, was travel. Because prior to me traveling, I had no inclination to do it. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't care about what was outside of my little comfort zone, right? And so once Mariel asked me once, she goes, how come you never want to go to Europe? I was like, I don't want to go to Europe is because they speak English. And she goes, what do you mean? It's because it's too easy for me. I want to travel to learn something new, and I want to challenge myself. Like, I want to be in an uncomfortable situation because I feel like I need that as a human being. Because it reminds me of, for me, when I was a kid, how I didn't want to travel because I was always scared of how uncomfortable it would be. Me not knowing the language, me not knowing the food, and not knowing anybody there. Because I always stuck in places where I knew somebody because it just made me feel comforted. And if I broke out of that space, I was fucking frightened. I mean, I never openly admitted it to anybody at the time when I was younger, but a lot of my friends who did travel, I was just like, oh, why would you want to travel? That's so stupid.
Yeah.
And I would project that negativity because that's the stuff that I was scared about.
Yep.
I was scared.
It's a comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like
and you try to make somebody else feel bad about doing the stuff that they want to do because you want them to feel as bad as you do. Because if they start to go above you, then you start to feel this distance. And I always see this in a lot of friends too, where recently I had a conversation with a with a younger guy, and he was telling me about somebody that's always around him. And we're around him too. And I kind of wanted to warn him about this guy's behavior, specifically because he's somebody who, number one, the guy that he's around is a very talented guy, very likable, super funny, like the guy a lot. But the reason why I wanted to warn him about him was because he's also the type of person, he's only happy and joking when you are in the same situation that he's in.
Yeah.
The moment he starts doing better, the other guy, he makes like slight jokes about it, right? He was like, oh, I guess you think you're so much better than me. Oh, I guess this, and that. Oh, who cares? Oh, your life must be so tough. And he does it in guise of joking, but what he's really saying is that I don't like it that you're doing better than me. And if you move past me, you and I can't be friends.
And you know what? So I have only recently, like I would say less than the past year, decided to get the fuck rid of all of those people. Because I was such a depressed and negative person, I surrounded myself with other depressed and negative people because we were all miserable together.
Yeah.
And then when I started doing a little bit better, some of these people, they would do anything to either make me feel bad or literally go out of their way to pull me down, literally like commenting shit on my Instagram. And these were like my friends and like sending shit to like fans and stuff. And it was like, oh, it's just a joke. And it's like,
nah, it's not a joke.
It might be a joke, but you know what? I don't like your jokes anymore. Your jokes are hurting me, and I don't want to wake up at 9 a.m. and have you ruin my day from the beginning. You're a toxic person, and I don't want to play the lottery with you every day to see, or every week to see when you're gonna fuck up my day because you can.
Because those jokes have truth in it.
Yeah, you know? They do.
And all jokes have a little truth in it. And so, when somebody says, when they go out of their way to do that, you already know they're trying to make you feel bad about something. So when I first started doing YouTube back in the day, and mind you, I didn't know what YouTube entailed, right? And, I kind of just go about my day and do whatever. Like, even till this day, I'm not balling out of my mind. And I sure as fuck don't show it. I drive a fucking Honda Element, for crying out loud. Like, I'm just chilling, just being myself. And so when I went back and we got together with some of the old homies, but there was this one fucking guy that irritated me. So the first
fucking guy.
Yeah. So the first year that I went back, when he made these comments, I kind of just brushed it off my shoulder. So it would be some shit like, oh, Mr. Popular's back, Mr. Cool Guy's back, or whatever, and I'm kind of like laughing it off or whatever. But as you get older, your threshold for bullshit gets really, really small. So we were kind of at this gathering. So whenever I come back at town, like I always hit the homies up, and then this guy made the same fucking comment. He goes, oh, what's up, cool guy? Like, how's it like being rich and living out in LA? And I took him aside. I was like, what the fuck is your problem? He goes, oh, what do you mean? And I was like, bro, number one, you're not a child and I'm not a child. Every time I come around, you got some shit to say. So what the fuck?
David.
So what the fuck is it that you want to say?
Place.
I was like, what the fuck is it that you want to say?
Did you shake him?
I didn't shake. I didn't know. But
when you said I took him aside, I was just imagining you be like, hey.
No, I didn't want to. I didn't want to chew him out in front of my friends, So I just kind of took him aside. I was like, yo, what the fuck is your problem? He goes, oh, I'm just joking. And I was like, see, I already knew right off the bat you were gonna say you were just joking, because that's what everybody fucking says. They say they're just joking. But every time I come in, you say that type of shit, but it always has like this weird fucking connotation to it. So if you're joking, I don't fucking like it. So the next time I come around, you make that fucking joke, then you and I are going to talk.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're supposed to be friends, right? I was like, so he just got, at that point, he just got a new job. When you got a new job, I fucking congratulated you. I said, yo, congrats on everything, blah, 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 blah.
No joke, no underlying, no bitterness, no nothing.
No nothing.
Like, that's it.
Right? But when something good happens to me, you always try to make this joke and try to make me feel bad about it. So what the fuck's your problem? And to be honest with you, if he was a really good friend, after that conversation, he never hit me back up. He doesn't even come to the circle anymore.
Yeah, and you know what? That's fine. Like, I'm so firm on like, and I'm a person that is just going through this, and I try so hard to, use my platform now because like, I'm working full time and shit.
Yeah.
I tried to use my platform to, how do I say this? I really hope in the next 10 years that I will be where I want to be,
Yeah.
And where I want to be is at the fucking top, bitch, And so often we hear stories of people that are already there. And you're like, yeah, sure, this is inspiring, this is great, but you don't really relate to them. So, anyone that like watches my shit, I want them to walk with me. I want to pull everyone up with me. I want them to see me on the come up. I want them to walk with me, and then we all make it to the top. Yeah. And two of the most important things that I can already say that I've learned that we talked on today is A, think outside of your own bubble, get outside of your comfort zone. Like we as humans, we underestimate ourselves, not realizing that we adapt. When you throw us in the water, we will swim. And if you don't think that you can't swim, fucking think again, man, because you will, like we are so adaptable.
Yeah.
So think outside of your bubble and get rid of toxic people. Like it will change your fucking life. Like there's a couple of things I've changed in the past year. And I would say that like those are two of the hardest hitting things that have like changed my life entirely. And I was so scared to get rid of people that I thought I was close to. But, sometimes you have people that are there for you for many, many years. And after a while, it just doesn't work out. It's time to change.
And I'm pretty sure that move was hard too. I mean, a lot of people call me fucking cold-blooded because I tend to be very candid and very straightforward, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why is I actually got this from my mom. My mom's like that. And I always look at her because number one, I always wondered, well, how can you do that so easily? And the reason why is because when you get older, you just don't give a fuck. I don't got time to give. I got only so many fucks to give. I don't want to give it to everybody, right? I mean, we could give little fucks, like those little baby fucks
it's
away,
like,
right?
David, we're getting to the end, and I don't have as many fucks to give as I used to. I have less and less, and so I need to eradicate some of the things that cost a fuck.
I'm telling you. So you know what I'm talking about, right?
100%.
So summer's coming around right now, right? It's wedding season.
Yes.
There's a lot of people who are getting married, and this is the weirdest part for me. So people already know, number one, I don't really like weddings that much. Yeah. I really don't. Like, I'm not what in the fuck is that? Is that, straight up, I thought that shit was a bottle of wine. I was like, this bitch, real? Is it?
This is sake.
Okay. I thought that shit was mad racial for a second. She was like, David's Korean. Oh, he's not Japanese. Oh, fuck. All right.
No, this is...
Is you drinking? Let's go David, enjoy yourself.
Are you going to judge me every time I need a drink?
No, I'm not going to judge you. I mean, if you see me on Thrillist, I drink all the fucking time. It's just kind of wild that you had it in your bag.
Well, I started, I forgot about it. I was going to ask you when I walked in and be like, David, I need you to warm this up for me.
You should have told me, I would have warmed that shit up.
Oh my God, David, you're so nice.
That's so fucking funny. Oh, look at that. Look at her go. You know what? This is what we call accepting somebody for who they are, a drunkard. And I'm just like, she's just, yo, who the fuck just has a bottle of sake? Are you a traveling samurai?
No,
what the fuck?
I knew I was coming to the podcast tonight.
Oh,
and let me tell you something right now. I've done a number of podcasts at this point, and where are the treats at? Your girl likes a little sippy. I like a little 1, 2, 3.
Hey, yo, so check this out. Nobody in JK drinks.
Yes, they do, David. I was just with them, unlike you in Vegas.
No, but check this out. They don't really drink, though.
Oh, except for, I don't even know if I should say this. Look.
It's like Nikki drinks.
No. Right? Tiff drinks.
Yeah, Tiff drinks every night, but she doesn't drink.
Tiff was, in Vegas, Tiff was like, I just want to keep a little buzz going. It was my favorite Tiff.
That's what we call Downy Tiff, dude.
It was, Tiff was so down to ride. Okay, so no, tell me this wasn't fucking cute. So Gina and I shared a room. Sorry, we were talking about weddings.
Go ahead.
But that's also, we fucked up because like we sat down and we were like, pain. We We just went right into it though.
What the fuck?
We went deep real fast. We did.
You know what? Girls have a really amazing ability to do that though. Like I feel like for me, I fucking love girl talk the most because girls they just open up themselves a lot more. Like they show their fucking wounds. With guys, there's like a lot of hoops that you have to go through, right?
Yeah.
So you have to go in and out, and finally a dude will open up. But girls, I always love girl talk because girls, they got the motherfucking tea, dude.
Dude, we're because we hold stuff in because y'all think we're fucking crazy. So then we have to like talk about it amongst each other.
I'm telling you, when I get old enough, I'm just gonna get a sex change. I'm gonna chop my dick off and get a pussy, and I'm gonna go to a bathhouse with ladies
and just start
talking. What's up, ladies? Like I'm a woman now.
I don't
Let's
know.
talk.
In the bathhouse, we don't talk, man.
In Japan, like I feel like a lot of the girls. Well, so typically in like onsens, you don't really speak a lot. Like you just stay real quiet. But then the hotel that we were at, the onsen, everybody was talking. Specifically, there was a bunch of Chinese tourists that were just yapping it up.
Oh my god! Speak of the devil, I was gonna tell you this, but I was like, let me save it for the. So I Ubered up here.
Yeah,
I told you. It was an hour and 15-minute ride.
Goddamn. Yep.
I know, right? But it was I got in, and you know how sometimes you have a talkative driver?
Oh, no.
I was like, I have like a trick to it at this point. If I have a long ride, be nice, but don't talk until the last like 10 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
And he starts talking to me immediately. Like immediately. And like 15, and like I keep trying to like kind of end the conversation, and like 15 minutes in, I'm thinking like, I need to save my energy for cameraman. I need to save it. I was like, I need to save it. And he just like kept talking. And then he finally said, I just started driving for Uber 2 weeks ago. And I was like, oh, great. So this means that he thinks he's got to get the good rating, and he wants to talk to me the whole time, and da-da-da-da. And so like after like 30 minutes, like we were driving like through the Hollywood Hills, and I was like, oh man, we got to go this way. I was like, well, I guess we're going to have to look at houses. Because I thought that this was going to be like really low energy. And I was so annoyed by this man. And then it felt like we were practically married. We were like, look at that one. I love the glass.
Oh my God, dude. Let me tell you.
And we were just looking at houses on the way up here.
The best Uber drivers, I shit you not, are fucking immigrant Asian people. Because number one, it's just a job. They don't give a fuck. And number two, they will never talk to you because they can't speak English.
What?
And I fucking love it. If I look at my Uber driver and it says his name is Zhang Zhao Jing Zhao, I'm like, fuck yes. Because this motherfucker is not going to give a fuck about traffic laws. He's going to get me there faster than on time. And number three, he ain't going to say shit throughout the ride.
A nice quiet ride.
I fucking love it. Minus maybe sometimes it might smell like herbs, but I kid you not, it's like the best. Like I get excited when I see the foreign words on there. It's dope.
You're so funny.
It's the best.
I get bummed out when I have like a driver and there's like a rug on the seat, and they have like random textures of cloth like draped over everything, and I'm like, dog, this does not match. This is your office.
One time I had this Uber driver, and I actually put it on my Insta story. I fucking shit you not. I think most people would have given this guy a 1 star, but this motherfucker was on something. So he picks me up. I kid you fucking not. It was on my Insta story. I got to go look that shit up. But he had like fucking underglows and lights everywhere, neon lights everywhere on the inside. He was blasting techno music. And on the freeway, he had all the fucking windows rolled down.
Oh my God, we love him.
And I sat and I was like, I think I'm going to die.
David, it's like, sir, I'm cold.
I don't think he gave a fuck, dude.
He's like, you like Zoom in?
Yo, I was just sitting in the back. I was like, dude, this is either going to be the fastest ride of my life or I'm going to be dead.
David's like, no, I'm cold. Yeah, I love base nectar. Like, literally like that.
If I asked him to fucking roll up the windows, I think he would have told me to fuck off.
Oh my gosh.
But I fucking love Uber rides, man. Like it's one of those things too. Like if anybody asks me to pick them up at the airport, I immediately hate them. I'm like, I fucking hate you. There's Uber. There is fucking Uber. If you could afford that plane ticket, you could afford an Uber ride.
I don't know, David. It's pretty expensive. I'm getting better with my money like these days. So I'm very conscious of stuff like that. Like $20 is not a drop in the bucket anymore.
But see, for me, if I pick somebody up, right? Let's say like somebody picks me up, I would buy them a meal anyways. So it would still cost me like 20 something bucks either way. So I might as well just spend that on an Uber and not inconvenience somebody.
That's true. But also it's a test.
For what, the friendship test? Fuck that friendship test.
Well, looks like you're saying fuck that friendship, David.
I'm not saying fuck that friendship. I'm saying it is fuck that friendship because you're trying to
from the airport.
You bitch, you would not. You get the fuck out of here.
I sure would.
I bet you would. You know what? If you asked me to pick you up, I would too, but I would fucking hate you for it.
Wow, David, I would pleasantly pick you up and say,
Bitch,
David,
I'm gonna throw you out this fucking window is what I'm gonna do.
David, windows up or windows down?
I will slice your feet off
Do you
right
like the
now.
AC?
This
Pandora?
Bitch, you would not
pick a Pandora station.
You know what? I'm coming. When I fly out for another Thriller show, guess who I'm calling? Hey, Boze, I need to be dropped off.
Dude, I told Tim the other day, I was like, we need to do something with David just so we can bring his blackness out. It's gonna happen.
I'm gonna legit, I'm gonna be coming back to LAX and I'm calling you up. Like, Boze, remember when you said you're gonna pick me up? Well, guess what, bitch? It's a Sunday and it's high traffic time.
David,
I'll see you in an hour.
It's high traffic time.
And I will hang it up right there.
David, you know I need at least 7 days notice.
Oh, no. We're friends. We're friends. There's no such thing as 7 days notice.
I mean, okay, look, Uber aside though, otherwise the airport is like an old school trick. That's like, would somebody pick you up from the airport? How close are you guys?
I would, legit, I shit you not, I would pick you up, but I guarantee you I'd be cursing you out on the way. Like, as I get there, I'm cursing you out like before you're there, and on the way back, you're gonna have to hear me complain all the way back.
And you know what? I'm gonna say this. Look, y'all, David's got a good heart because we barely knew each other. I didn't have your number. We had never talked outside of JK. I think we had shot together like 2 or 3 times. And like one day I DM'd David. I was like, hey man, I need a favor. This dude hits me back in 5 minutes. He's like, yeah, what you need? Here's my number. Let me know. I'm like, oh bitch, my heart. But I didn't text you for like 2 weeks.
I know this bitch. So she fucking comes, like she asked me for a fucking favor. She just ghosts out. I'm like, she's probably dead. And
I deleted Twitter from my phone.
Oh, I was
and you fucking know why.
I thought you died, and I was like, she's probably dead.
I think I was on my computer. I literally only use Twitter on my computer. I do not have the app anymore. I'm tired of it. And I know you are too, because I see you yelling at people 24/7. Like the one time I get on, like it'll be like, one new tweet from David. So fuck you.
Yo, my fucking Twitter, like I decided to only write like stupid shit, but not write stupid shit back to people anymore. And the reason why is because I kind of get caught up in it, not angry, but I enjoy it too much. Like I try at a certain point, I dislike the person so much, I try to make them as mad as possible. So now I'm like, okay, well now I'm just being a troll. So it started to develop a really bad habit where let's say somebody writes some stupid shit. They'll be like, David, fuck you, you're not funny. Then I'll just write something else. Like I'll look at their profile, see what they're doing. I'm like, cool, well you're fucking white trash and your mom never loved you. And then they'll say some other shit. I was like, that's funny. How can you talk with my dick in your fucking mouth? Like I would just say whatever I can. Like childish. It's not even great comebacks, but it makes them so fucking mad.
Well, and it really shuts them down. And I think that this is if I can offer a possible explanation, let me just get the juices flowing.
There you go. Get your thoughts going.
Yeah. Now, if I can offer my own, like what I think it may be, and then maybe we can come up with a solution on how to help trolls in a healthy way. So, you know how sometimes people like leave a comment and it's so fucking angry. You've never even seen this person's name before. They don't know you. It's just, fuck David. He's a stupid fuck, blah, 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 blah,
yeah.
I wonder, and just here's one theory, if like maybe we remind them of somebody they know, or we have tendencies that are like someone that they know, or maybe we said something or have an opinion like similar to somebody that upset them, hurt them, or they don't like. Because where are these feelings coming from? Like sometimes these are some very strong words, and I can't help but think that maybe some action or something is vaguely reminiscent of something from their past that upset them.
See, you know what you have?
What?
You have something called empathy.
Oh, yes.
You have a lot of empathy.
Oh my God, David, I'm so empathetic that it's almost a problem sometimes. Like, do you ever get secondhand embarrassment?
Absolutely not.
See, so secondhand embarrassment is a sign of empathy. Like, empathy for some people is so strong sometimes that you feel that, you feel that in them, and it bleeds into other things.
Wow.
And so like, I think that those feelings are too strong for you to hate me from a 30-minute video. And that's something that I realized, and it helped me take things less personally, And so I think that sometimes when these people leave these comments and say these things, it's a way to rise above the person that they're relating you to.
Damn, see, you know what? That's some grown-up shit. And I'm a fucking child, because that's not what I think. What I think is like, okay, so this person wrote this shit, and this person actually thinks that this comment is funny, and arguably it's not funny. You, sir, should not have friends. And so for me, I try to figure out why this person's life is bad, not to empathize with them, but to laugh at them. And so is that empathy? Because I think that's empathy too.
That's
Okay,
not.
I'm like, oh my God, this person's fucking dog died yesterday. Very well deserved. And then I just move on with my day. I'm like, you stupid son of a bitch. I hope your dog fucking bit your balls off before it choked on it, you stupid asshole. And then I go to sleep and I go to church on Sunday.
You know, I think is interesting is that, you know, especially considering you said that you came from a place of anger and pain. And I also came from a place of anger and pain. If we were not where we are right now, we might be those trolls on the internet that are venting their frustration to people because they're having a bad day.
Oh, absolutely not. I would just be on a stand-up comedy stage doing it instead.
No, David, but I'm saying if you had taken a less positive path, you know, I'm just
get your empathy shit out of here, right?
Oh my God.
Get your stupid fucking empathy bullshit out of here. This is what I refuse to say that I would be that person.
Look, in 30 minutes, me being like, David, you have to understand where they're coming
she's gonna really, this bitch. Yo, I wish I knew you like to drink, because I would have stocked up like a motherfucker.
Dude, I enjoy a little, you know,
what's your shit? Like, what do you like to drink aside from sake?
I personally, I love warm sake, and so like I was like, oh, this will be room temperature. Like,
yo, I didn't know, because see,
it's also boiling in here, so I'll just leave this bottle right there.
I didn't know you like drinking. If you did,
my God,
I would have stocked up, because I dibble dabble with a drink.
You like to have a little. We should have gone for it for the second episode.
I'm a Korean dude. Of course I like drinking.
Really?
Yo, there's a after we end this episode, there's a Bevmo right around the corner.
Oh my God, David, are we walking?
We're gonna walk to Bevmo. We're gonna get a drink and we're gonna come right back. I shit you not.
Dude, that's and you know what? Is that not the best part too? Is that like the second episode is like, I'm just wondering how we got to this point.
The second episode is gonna start about GeniusBrainPodcast. And what we talking about when someone go around here doing funny games, man.
And we have the most empathetic bitch in the world, and me, a stone cold. I don't know.
Look, I do have empathy, but I also have that other side where I just choose not to give a fuck about somebody, because there's so many people that I would have to be empathetic towards, and that would be the more Christ-like thing for me to do. But I tell you something, man, I'll tell you, Christ in me is to live, to die. Look, I got all these like old Christian songs in me. But the problem with that is that it's just so hard to be a Christian sometimes. I'm telling you, it is so fucking difficult. Even as I say fucking, I know I'm not supposed to say it, but it is hard. And that's why I go to church on Sundays, to refresh me, because I feel like if I didn't go to church, I guarantee you I'd be 10 times worse as a person.
You know what? Okay, so I am not religious, but I was raised Christian. I was raised very Christian, and for like a myriad of reasons. I not only will never be a Christian, but the thought of Christianity angers me. However, my grandma was a usher at a church for 40 years.
That's tight. Even
as a retiree, she cleans the church every Sunday. She goes in because she is out here fucking hitting the board for the Lord. Okay. She really is. Okay, and my mother is she's so religious, she doesn't curse. And, you know, for the longest time, I never cursed around her. And, like, when I finally rebelled at, like, 26, I was like, you know what?
At 26, bitch, that's hella late.
I was like, I was so respectful, I never cursed around my mother. But although I am not Christian and I do not foresee myself becoming a Christian, I was raised with very Christian morals, and I'm so incredibly thankful for that, because I'm a loose cannon with like a compass that's like, go north.
Yeah. You know, I will say this, like it's funny because a lot of the people that I vibe with, they're not Christian, but they grew up in a Christian household. So they have a lot of those, you know, the positive moral lessons that they've got from growing up in a Christian church or a Christian community that kind of seeped into who they are, right? Which is really good. So even for me, like as a kid, let's say my kid chooses not to be a Christian when he's older, that's your choice. But I think I am going to put them at a church as a kid, because I think a lot of the stuff that I learned, just morally wise, aside from like, you know, we're not going to get into all the deep, dark fucking parts of like, you know, Christianity or whatever.
Oh,
but
David, I'm here for it.
Yeah, but just for the you know, just like love your neighbor, choose love over hate, all this type of stuff. Like I wouldn't want them to at least have that foundation.
Absolutely. And when the way I grew up, I gravitated towards like the emo and the metal kids and stuff. And I dealt with a lot of people that were like, hail Satan, like, just to be edgy and shit like that. And I also was friends with some kids that thought that they were like anarchists and stuff. Like I grew up around, I gravitated towards some really like.
These were black kids or white kids?
White kids,
okay,
David.
I was about to say, I was like, what black kids you hang out with? I was like, what the fuck? I don't have any
black friends. If there are any black folks out there that want to accept me,
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of black dudes that want to accept you.
Yes, there are. Now, but I grew up around all these kids, and like there was a point where like they were all like, fuck Christianity, blah, 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 where I was like, okay, let's take a step back from this, because it is ambitious to think that people have enough of a moral compass, or they are smart enough to know right from wrong.
Yeah.
They don't. They fucking don't. They need a code of conduct. And with Christianity, like, I don't know what's going to happen when we all die, but with Christianity, there's a code of conduct, and then there's a reward or a punishment.
Yeah.
And that is what human beings need.
Yeah.
If we did not have the concept of religion, so many people would run rampant because there was no threat of impending doom if they did bad things. I absolutely believe that religion is necessary to keep people from going fucking insane. Or
like in sense in government. So I know a lot of people who think that having a government is just ridiculous, that people can figure it out for themselves.
No, and you're living once again in your own bubble of thinking everyone's as smart as you, because you may be very smart, you may have a fantastic moral compass, but you're forgetting about the other people.
Yeah. I feel like I understand why people don't feel like they should be governed for specific things, right? Like I completely understand that. The one thing that just deters me from that is the fact that I think if we are truly just animals, then we're really based on survival, right? Yeah. And people will do whatever they can to survive. But if there's no rules within that, they can do whatever they want to get to that point of survival.
Right.
So, and I feel like that's some of the deepest, like darkest shit that people would do. And that there aren't rules or a code of conduct. I mean, who's to say what's bad or good? It's kind of a scary thought for me. You know what I mean?
It really is. And like, it once again goes to, you and I are people who have clearly said that we can think outside of, our moral code of conduct, our bubble, our comfort zone. But we cannot imagine the depths of people that are in their darkest place. We can't imagine that. And I mean, how interesting is that there is government and there is religion, or there's their parents that they don't want to disappoint, that are keeping them from unleashing that really dark side of them.
Yeah.
And then, or sometimes it's goals, aspirations, a job. Like and you know what's interesting? I'm actually almost terrified of people that have nothing to live for. If I feel like you hate your job, you hate your life, you're like single, depressed, whatever, I'll help you like best as I can, but if I feel like there's animosity towards me or something dark, I'm a little scared, because I know like how dangerous I was to myself and others when I was in a dark place.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you this. So when I was in Riverside, I was in a dorm. There was this one kid. He actually got removed from school. He got arrested because of a bomb that he was like trying to make in his room.
Yeah.
So check this shit out. So I remember this fucking Asian kid. This kid was fucking weird. So the first like week or so, or it was like early on when we first came to Riverside, I shit you fucking not, this dude had like dead rabbits in his room. And so this fool brought a pellet gun onto school so he could hunt rabbits and cook and eat them. And I was like, well, first of all, motherfucker, where did you grow up? You're Asian. This is a little weird. And he grew up in like the LA area. So I was like, you didn't grow up on a farm or some shit. So this is very odd, right? So his roommate apparently contacted the authorities because he found him trying to make like bomb kits in his closet, like the shit, like the ingredients. I don't know what they fucking were exactly.
Yeah.
But he got taken away. But check this shit out. I was the nicest to him, just in case this motherfucker was gonna take everybody out. I swear to God, like if he was gonna blow people up, there would have been a smiley face on my door that would have said, "You're cool."
You're the best guy in the fucking world.
I befriended the fuck out of that weirdo.
But also, I mean, and like not even from like a survival instinct, but because of the very empathetic thing, because I've been in such a dark place before, and I know like how much it hurts, how much you feel like you can't control it, how deep that spiral goes. If I see somebody that's in that position and I'm around them constantly, I will be very kind to them, because you never know
when they're gonna kill people.
No,
Because
David. David. You never know when they need a conversation, you know? Like, it almost like, if, like, think about it. If they're spiraling downwards and you put a break in that spiral with a conversation or a fucking joke or something, you really are helping.
Can I say this, though?
Oh, my God.
I tried, and that motherfucker had no sense of humor. All I had to do,
you gotta do another joke.
All I had
David,
to do,
it wasn't funny enough.
all
David,
I had to
another
do,
joke.
all I had to do was come in and just be like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And he would look at me like an idiot, and he would just walk by. But I was like, "Hey, at least I'm the one that said hi to him, motherfuckers."
No, and then also another thing is that sometimes it's okay. That's a little odd. It's
He was out there. Like he was just kind of zoned out all the time. And I didn't think that he was gonna blow anybody up, but I felt like he might stab a couple of people.
I thought I didn't think he was gonna blow anybody. Like he was just gonna get on his knees, start sucking dick in class.
Hey man, if he did, we would have been best friends. No, but this guy,
he's not that weird. That's normal.
No, he was odd, man. Like he was just a weird kid. And I kid you not, I kind of looked at him like, you just look like a skinny version of me. Why you so weird, dude? What's up, man? Like, but there's not that many Asian people on this floor, dude. You making us look bad.
You know what though? I feel like I was not that weird, but I was very weird.
And I would have been nice to you every day.
You think
I would
so?
have been that break in your spiral down. I would have been like, hey, what's up, Boze? And then you would have looked at me like, shut the fuck up, fat boy. And I would have been like, all right, man, that's cool. I'm still going to say hi to you.
I would have been your friend.
Oh, would you
Even
have?
if you were chubby.
Thank you. And what the fuck? Tell you something.
You actually looked nervous. He was like, word?
I was really chubby, but I was very charming. I was a chubby, charming man.
Dude, wait, did you ever see that Instagram post I did of what I looked like when I was younger?
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Oh my God.
You look like a white girl. Like, I was like, what the fuck were you doing, dude? Like, what kind of people did you hang out with?
Dude, yes, all white people.
That's fucking crazy.
All white people. David, I'm mixed. Black people did not want me. They were like, oh, she's not black enough. I had no coven.
Really?
Really?
That's fucking wild.
I talked about this on Tim's podcast. Sounds like you didn't listen.
Let me tell you something real quick.
I literally texted it to you 4 times. I was like, hey, David, here's the link to Tim's podcast.
No, you fucking
Hey,
did it,
David,
you lying
it's live.
bitch. You try to fucking make me look bad on this podcast. And I'll tell you this. The reason why I don't watch that stuff is because I wanted to ask you the same thing so you could bring it back up on here.
I talked about this before, and I thought it was interesting how like Tim and Nikki and, you know, everyone, they're from California originally, so I don't think they understand how much fucking racism.
No, we don't.
I mean,
we absolutely don't. So I mentioned this too before. It's when I was starting YouTube, there was a lot of kids who would talk about, yo, like, you know, what's it like being an Asian that does this and that? And I'm like, where the fuck do you live, dude? Like fucking white people just come up and pants you and go, oh, ching chong, ching chong.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what the fuck do you live? But they would literally experience shit like that. And I'm like, oh, it's because I live in California. I live in Cali. I live West Coast, baby. Like, there's a lot of Asian people. There's a lot of Asian people that run shit over here too.
Yeah.
So, you know, even the thought of like an Asian thug makes people laugh in certain parts. Like, what do you mean Asian thugs? Aren't you guys all fucking like whatever, fucking pencil pushers and fucking number crunchers?
No.
It's like, cool. Well, why don't you say that to a bunch of Asian boys out in Long Beach and see what's up? You know, so it's like, oh, so these people do exist. Like, there's like still some hardcore racism out there.
Yeah.
Because like if you came up to somebody, let's say, albeit in a very gangster ass neighborhood, and there was a bunch of Asian thugs, and you said, "What's up, chink?" You might get a bullet in your fucking chest.
I know. Oh my God, dude. That like, and you know what else? People love to say shit like that online, and they would never.
Of course not.
Oh, never.
Of course
never.
not.
Oh, absolutely not. Never. Yeah, I was trying to think, like, there was so much shit that I didn't even talk about on his podcast. Just like, oh my God, like so much racist ass shit. And I think what some people found the most was surprising was that my first very racist experience was with black girls.
Oh, me too.
Oh. Really?
Not, I guess, blatantly racist because, well, this girl got kicked out of school for this shit though because she called me a chink, and I never had anybody call me a chink except for a black girl, and so I mentioned this too when I was this story when I did Gook. It was like on a panel,
yeah,
and I actually told them, like, I've never heard somebody call me a white person call me gook. It was actually a black girl that did at my school when I was walking home. And I don't know what the fuck, she was having a bad day or something, but she said, watch where you going, you fucking chink. And I
what the?
Yeah, and she called me a chink and a gook, and she said gook and chink. I never heard these terms before, like gook. I was like, the fuck is gook? And the only thing I thought was, does she know Korean? Because gook means soup in Korean. I was like, yo, why the fuck is this bitch calling me a gook? And I had to ask her, like, yo, gook is a racist shit. And of course I was like, yo, what the fuck? But she got pulled aside because one of the teachers heard her say like a couple of racial slurs. They took her aside. I guess she was like one of the trouble kids in school, but she got kicked out after that. That was like the last straw. So I was like, yo, the first time somebody called me a gook and a chink was a black girl.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, they didn't really call me names. It was more so that I was just I went to an all black church and I was the lightest person I was the lightest person in the entire congregation. Really? I stood out like a sore thumb, but it's just because my dad is like white and native, and my mom's black, so I just looked different. So I was very easy to say, for them to say, "Oh, you're not like us," you know.
At a church?
Yeah.
That's very odd. That's not very Christ-like.
Yeah. I mean, it got very bad, and they started bullying, and then they started hitting me.
They hit you? Mm-hmm. Like what? Punched you in the face?
Yeah.
They were mad because you had nice straight hair. That's why. They were mad. It's like, look, we got to pay for this shit. With your fucking
It was really bad. Like it was such like a traumatizing event for me. I'm gonna tell you this story. I feel like I'll
just go ahead.
I'm gonna tell. Okay. So damn, what if I start crying, David?
And if you cry, yo, everybody cries on this goddamn podcast.
No, I'm not. Look, Oprah, stop. David's like, just wait until he strikes something. Okay, so it's gonna seem really silly, but like basically, I was going through months of mental and physical abuse by like the same like group of girls.
Yeah.
Like just the same group of girls, and for literally no reason other than probably that I was light skinned and my mom's an author, so like I'm like fairly like well spoken, you know? And I was just different. And so like one day I was forced to go to this sleepover at the church. It was like a lock-in, and I didn't want to go because I didn't have any friends. And I kept telling my parent, like my mom and my grandma, like, I don't want to go. Don't make me go. Please don't make me go. They made me go anyways. And it was, nobody talked to me the whole night. I was basically by myself. And then at one point I saw some boys playing video games. And I'd been playing video games because I was a really lonely kid. So I walked over and I went to play video games with them. And I guess some of the girls had a crush on some of the boys, and they didn't like that I went over and talked to them. In their eyes, they're like, oh, look at this fucking slut. But I'm like 10. You know, I'm not even 10. I'm like 7, you know, but it's just, you guys are playing video games. I play that game at home. I want to play with you. So I start playing with the boys, and I'm pretty good at this game.
You slut.
Exactly. They're like, you fucking slut. This gets fucking weird, right? And I'm also telling you why I'm not religious.
Yeah.
So we go, like everyone, like I play video games with them. I don't remember that much. I was really young. And then we all go to bed. We have these like sleeping things or whatever.
Yep.
And then like I wake up at like early in the morning and it's dark. Everybody's asleep. And I have this stuff like all over me. And I touch it and I thought that it was blood. And like I'm like 7, you know? And I really thought that it was blood, and so I scream. I just like scream because I feel this stuff. I don't know what it is. I'm like scared and anxious. They flip on the lights, and these bitches had just put ketchup and mustard all over me. They covered my entire body with ketchup and mustard. Yeah, like while I was sleeping. They had like everywhere. And so like I'm embarrassed because I had just woken up everyone in the room. It was a huge room. I'm embarrassed. This woman had to like clean me up, and like I'm like why did they do this? Why did they do this? But then like I just get like angry after that. Like I went fucking cold. Like I shut down as a kid. Like I've been dealing with like physical abuse. Like I was getting beat up. I was getting fucking like yelled at. I was getting spit on by these girls that I didn't know. And then this was just like it. Like this was last straw.
They're going to hell.
So this is like where it gets weirder. This is where it gets even weirder, David. I can't believe I'm telling this story.
I'm like shocked.
This is like very personal to me.
Yeah.
So. This was a really traumatizing event for me as a kid because I'm also okay with telling this because as minuscule as it seems, I think it's important to remind yourself of trauma and things that are a shock to your system, you know, because this really was, because I felt betrayed by, you know, my grandparents and my mom that had made me go when I begged not to go. I did not want to go back to this place. I was fed up at this point. I was embarrassed. I was hurt, like everything. And like, I went cold as like a 7 or 8 year old child. Like, I was fucking done.
Yeah.
But, so that happened on like a Friday or Saturday night, and my mom had to come pick me up, and like I could tell that she was like really destroyed because she wanted to make her mom happy, and my grandma was very religious, so my mom felt like I had to go to this church, I had to be a Christian, and my mom felt hurt because she was like, I can't believe I fucking let my child go, like after I had been seeing her come home like upset from children's church every day. And so it was just it was like, fuck. And so my mom like calls like the pastor and is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
like, what the fuck happened? Were you guys watching?
In the name of Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
Excuse me, sir, in the name of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And so like, this is like a big deal. And like people in the church are talking about it and shit too. They're like, that's Brother Percy's kid. Yeah. That's, so there's like murmurs and shit like that. And then
with my prayers.
So we go to church on Sunday. This is where it gets fucking weird. So we go to church on Sunday, and it's a black church. Any black folks out there, y'all ever been to a black church? This shit's like 2 hours. So at the end of the sermon, in front of the entire congregation, which is like 200 people, the pastor calls up the 3 girls that did this to me and asks them to come to the front of the church.
Oh, shit.
Calls them by name and tells them to come up. And he takes this fucking water and he goes, I curse you and your families. I'm not fucking kidding, David. He's like, your eyes just went like, what the fuck? To these like girls.
I didn't know pastors had that power.
He tells them, he's like, I curse you and your families. This sounds like it's out of a fucking movie. I swear on God this happened. I don't know if this guy thought that doing this would
make you feel better.
Yeah, or my family feel better. But instead, it was shaming the 3 girls and all of their families who were in the congregation. And keep in mind, it's not just mom and dad going. It's mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle. So 3 girls, let's just multiply that by 5, 15 people in the congregation. They've got friends of friends. To me as a child, I felt like everyone in that congregation fucking hated me for being such a little bitch, you know? Like, and that was it. That was the end of the sermon. He did that and he dismissed everybody, And I still had to go to that church for a few years.
Damn, what was that like after?
Damn, dude, that fucked me up. Like, it was, and you know what the fucked up thing is? I don't remember. I was done. I was completely done with the world after that, And I mean, like, and that wasn't the only, like, unfortunate thing happened in my life, like, there's like a few just, like, small things that basically the world told me very early on, before I was even 10 years old, that nobody wants you here.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I was told. And I saw the world through a lens of that,
Yeah.
And it was really rough. And, like, to be fair, man, I really can't tell you because I don't remember. I just blocked it out. And it took me a long time to claim my Sundays back, which I'm like super happy to say I have them back now. For years, I hated Christmas and I hated Sundays.
You hated Christmas? You hated Santa Claus?
I did. I hated it all, man.
Santa Claus ain't even Jesus. That's just a white dude with a beard.
I was done. I was because it just meant going back. And so like I would like as a kid, I would like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like was like cool, and then Saturday would hit and I knew Sunday was coming and I had to go back to the church. So for like years and years and years, I was shut off to that, And another thing is, and like my mom's probably gonna listen to this shit. We've talked about it. Like I don't really care. Another thing is that like it's kind of that thing we talked about again with the bubble. My mom never went through a depressed phase, like a hating yourself phase. So she didn't know how deep my pain went with this stuff.
She couldn't empathize with it.
She didn't understand, and like, it was like a big deal for us, like later on in life to like come back and be like, like I forgive you and I didn't understand, It was really big, but I got my Sundays back. I respect Christianity now. I can't have y'all crazies running around, but yeah, that's,
a lot of people do have like these very traumatizing experiences like at church, and it's kind of sad because even for me too, like I've had those experiences, right?
Yeah.
And like I had to figure out for myself, it's like, well, man, like I remember there was this I don't know. Maybe it's because I think everything's funny.
David,
maybe
you can cry.
Well, I ain't gonna cry. This is hilarious.
David, you can cry.
I just want to tell you. No, but this shit was fucking crazy, man. So I used to flip between 2 different churches. Well, 3 different churches because my friends went there. So every now and then I would ask my mom, can I spend the night on Saturday at their house so I can go to church with them? And my mom's like, oh, cool. But there was this one church that I really liked going to because I thought it was such a fucked up church because some shit would always happen. And so one Sunday, this dude, so these 2 brothers known to be hyper temperamental. You're talking about the stereotypical Korean angry dudes. These 2 dudes were fucking angry. They were Sean and James. I'm not going to say their last names, but they're Korean, so you could probably figure out what it is. So Sean and James, right? There's only a few options. These dudes they played rugby. So already a very violent sport, but they were so fucking angry, right? But I don't know what the fuck happened that day at church.
Wait, how old were you?
I can't remember, man. I had to be like, this is definitely, I was in the junior high or like sixth grade or something like that.
Oh.
So 6th, 7th, or 8th, something around there. I don't remember the exact age, but I remember, you want to talk about some savage shit. So there's like a Korean joke. They go, people say this, like, let's make like a Korean church and split, just because Korean churches split all the fucking time. So this was a very pivotal moment where this Baptist church split, and it was due to be this one fucking fight. This dude, Sean and James's dad, had beef with the head pastor. And this is after the head pastor was done saying his speech. After he was doing his whatever shit, he was kind of like within the sermon, he was kind of alluding to how we all have to stick together, like even though you have differences and this is what God would want. And so he was kind of lightweight throwing shade at the person that's about to stand up and oppose him. So he basically said, if anybody has anything to say, just come out in front of the congregation and let's talk about it. So Sean and James's dad, who I could tell who he got their anger problems from, stood up and he was like, I have a problem. Like, and then he just goes up on the podium with the pastor and starts cursing him out in front of the whole fucking congregation.
Why?
And I don't fucking know. I don't know. I don't really attend this church. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
He was fucking his wife.
I don't know what it was.
You think he was fucking his wife?
Yo, I can get into some other stories about that shit, but I don't think that was the case in this one. I think like they had disagreements about how the church was being ran. But this guy was so fucking temperamental, decided to do it in front of the whole congregation, start cursing this dude out.
Oh my God.
Like a dumbass. But check this shit out, right? So literally as they're going back and forth, they're screaming at each other. Fucking Sean and James, these 2 dumb fucks come up and they clock the head pastor. Blat. Socks the head pastor. I'm talking about an old fucking Korean man.
What? Just to like defend their dad?
And their dad was in no immediate danger. Like these fucking 2 roided out fucking meathead Korean dudes decks the fucking head pastor. I'm like,
my God.
Yo, what the fuck? I was like,
that would like make me so sad, David.
Dude, I was just like, yo, this is fucking WWF in real life. I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Dude, churches are fucking crazy, dude. If you ever want, I have so many church stories, people don't even fucking know.
You have cheating stories?
Dude, I got shit ton of church stories.
Oh my God. Can we like hit up like that weird? I was listening to a podcast today where these girls were talking about how to cheat. And look, I'm going to tell you this shit. This shit's crazy. They were like, if you want to cheat, go into your notes section on iPhone and then share it with the girl that you're talking to.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
Because they were like, your girlfriend will never find it.
This is what I'm saying, man. People are
I was
so
like, and
deceptive.
also I was like, these are women. I was like, are you bitches really telling them we're supposed to be in this together?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be in this. Yeah.
People don't fucking know, man. Like I got so many. The reason why I don't even tell half of these like bad church stories is because to me it's entertainment, but I don't want to deter people from Christianity. But I got a lot of bad stories though. Like it's fun. To me, it's funny though. Like I look at it as this is hilarious because as I say, church is for the sick and the hurt. So there's not supposed to be perfect human beings at church. So stuff like shit's supposed to happen.
And also, I think it's safe to say that like let's just say 70% of churches have good intentions, 30% don't.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that there are some that are like, oh, I'm a believable person. I'm a fucking sociopath and I want to make some money. I'm going to open a church. It's nonprofit, like and
man,
go from there.
I got some stuff. Well, fuck, man. We actually hit an hour. So
yeah.
that's tight. Dude, we went into some deep shit.
We did.
That's what happens. Get a little sake in there.
Dude, no, I mean, I barely even touched that shit, you know? But like about like halfway through I opened my mouth, I was like, I can't believe I'm giving David this content for free.
Yo, you know what the crazy thing about the internet is? You could tell that same story in your own personal space and it'll be 10 times better. It's just different. You know what I mean? Because I've told the same stories like on JK News and I have on this podcast, but it comes off different every time when you do it on your own platform. Because you're allowed to elaborate in a way that you can't when you're put on the spot.
David, so much fucked up shit has happened to me that like ketchup and mustard is like, I feel like it's like, actually no, that was bad because I was like a child.
That's pretty bad.
It was like,
especially at a safe place, especially at an area where you had a conversation with your mom and your grandma. And you said, I don't feel safe there. And they sent you there anyways. So if you guys don't know what a lock-in is, that's what it is.
Thank you.
So, you know, you kind of felt betrayed by everybody. It's like, who do I have to turn to? Because I told you I didn't want to go there. You sent me there anyways. I go there and now the situation became worse.
Mom?
Because
Mom?
it's hard because, like, you know, especially for your mom too, because it's a church, she always thinks that the church has the best intentions.
Yeah.
And I believe that the religion has best intentions, but not people.
And you can't control every single person in
exactly.
there. But, you know, we gonna keep rolling on this shit.
Yeah, okay, shit. Anyways,
like,
well, just to clarify, what a lock-in is, if you guys don't know, a lot of churches have this shit where a bunch of the kids will stay in at the church and have a big sleepover at night. They do like Bible study and praise, and they spend the night and have a slumber party. That's what that shit is. It's not some fucking prison shit. They're like, well, that would be a lockdown. Anyways, you guys could catch us on Spotify. You could catch us on fucking iTunes, whatever audio platform there is. Remember, if you guys see us, leave comments in below about who you want to be on here, topics that we should talk about, current events, whatever. We're gonna get in on that shit. Boze, where can they find you? What do you want to plug?
you can find me on Instagram. Oh, plug. And
yo, shit.
Yes, Instagram. My Instagram is Big Boss Boze. Find me there. And we have another project coming out with some of the JK News Girls this June. You'll find links to it there when it gets announced.
It's gonna be some crazy shit. Like, I'm telling you, I definitely won't be a guest on there, but I will say this.
Yes, you will.
If I ever do, I cannot fucking wait. I love girl talk. Oh, God. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next time.